and crying at the same time.
Weeknights on CBS.
Thanks for watching News 12 on your side.
Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12 live at 5.
Tonight, at least 18 people are dead, dozens others hurt after a mass shooting in Lewiston, Maine. Now, this all happened last night between two locations. The first, a restaurant, then a bowling alley. The suspect, a trained firearms instructor, is not in custody yet. Hundreds of law enforcement officers are on the hunt as we speak. Chris Pallone is in Lewiston, Maine for us tonight.
In the communities around Lewiston, Maine, streets are empty, businesses and schools closed, people are staying home, some locking their doors for the first time in a long time as police try to close in on a killer.
Based on our investigation, we believe this is someone that should not be approached. This is someone that should be, if you come into any contact with this individual or someone that you think looks like this individual, you were to call 911.
An arrest warrant has been issued for 40-year-old Robert Card. Investigators believe he's the gunman seen here holding an assault-style rifle. The shooter first opened fire around 7 at a Lewiston bowling alley, then drove to a nearby restaurant and bar and killed more people there. Leroy Walker confirmed to Lester Holt his son Joey was a manager at Shemengi's Bar and Grill and died in the massacre.
He went into telling her that he died as a hero because he picked up a butcher knife from somewhere. He has all that stuff near the bar anyways, and he tried to go at the gunman to stop him from shooting anybody else. The gunman shot him twice through the side.
Police found Card's abandoned car about 8 miles from the shootings. A police bulletin said Card was trained as a firearms instructor and believed to be in the Army Reserve. That release also said he recently reported mental health issues, including hearing voices, and had threatened to shoot up a National Guard base in Maine.
This city did not deserve this terrible assault on its citizens, on its peace of mind, on its sense of security.
Now, as the search for the suspect continues, so many questions remain. Why? How? And is any place truly safe? Chris Pallone, NBC News, Lewiston, Maine.
Are with them. Riley.
Well, weather-wise this afternoon, another beautiful day for us here across the CS array. A live look at our Thurman Dam cam, and you can see almost completely calm conditions up at the lake at the moment. So the wind direction's out the south, so that means the Thurman Dam is blocking that south wind from reaching the lake, and you can see it looks like glass out there. Beautiful picture this afternoon. Many spots have been able to get at least up to 80, so it is a little bit warmer today. Currently 81 at Bushfield, and you can see that east-southeast wind staying less than 10 miles an hour out there this afternoon. We've had a few clouds bubble up again, but these are not rain-producing clouds by any means, so any evening plans you have, we are going to stay nice and dry. Here's a look at other temperatures. 78 right now in Aiken, same thing in Saluda, 81 in Evans, Thompson, you're at 79, Waynesboro currently at 80 degrees. Closer towards the metro, Martinez right at 80, same thing at Fort Gordon. And then in North Augusta, one of the cooler spots currently at 74. If you are stepping out this evening, temps will stay in the 70s and 60s for most of this evening, even into early tonight. So it is going to be another mild night for us to where we're only expecting low temps down into the 50s, but potentially could wake up to some patchy dense fog out there for the first part of your Friday morning. So heads up if you are going to be up early. Have a look at that weekend for you in just a bit, but let's get a quick update on your First Alert traffic.
And now, First Alert traffic.
All right, unfortunately, we got our bug friend here, our Mr. Wasp. He is blocking our traffic view, but luckily it doesn't look like traffic is necessarily impacted too much at the moment. Usually by the 5:30 hit, we usually start to see that traffic pick up a bit. Let's go out to Grovetown, and you can see they are starting to open up some new lanes, so hopefully this will help kind of alleviate this long line trying to turn right on Lewiston Road, but this is right at 190. Obviously, one of those areas of a lot of construction still ongoing, but it looks like they're making progress there, so hopefully traffic does improve for you there in Columbia County. I have an update on the weekend for you in just about 10 minutes.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much. New tonight, a South Carolina man pleads guilty for obstructing an investigation into the December 2019 murder of a transgender woman. Court documents say Xavier Pickney gave false information to state investigators, the ones who were investigating the murder of LaDime Doe. Doe was found shot to death in a car off Highway 278. Documents say Pickney admitted that he hid using his phone to call and text LaDime Doe the day of her murder. They also show he lied about seeing Wrdw, who allegedly shot Doe to death. Pickney faces a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison. November elections just around the corner, with presidential elections just over 1 year away. Today, Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger made an appearance in Glasscock County to conduct health checks on voting equipment. Our Nick Veland was there and shows us more.
Election security is on every voter's mind heading into this upcoming presidential election, and today in Glasscock County, they tested their ballots to make sure that every vote is counted. Randomly selected ballot boxes opened and tested as part of the Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger's health checks for voting equipment for the 2024 elections. This is done to ensure the hardware and software is intact for the upcoming elections and the ballots aren't vulnerable to fraud and are working properly. Raffensperger says that all this is done for a fair 2024 election.
The machines will be accurate, but that's what we're going to do by going through this test. Then we can show you we got the same result. Nothing's been changed and altered over the period of time that they've been here. And we also look at the security of the building, things like that.
And these checks are taking place all across the state of Georgia. And coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, I'll have more on today's health check and how this process looks to build trust with voters. In Glasscock County, Nick Veland, on your side.
All right, thanks for that, Nick. Today, a federal civil trial in Georgia will determine whether a conservative group violated the Voting Rights Act by intimidating voters. Back in 2020, when the U.S. Senate runoff election was happening in Georgia, a Texas-based conservative group called True the Vote announced it would challenge the eligibility of more than 360,000 Georgia voters. Soon afterwards, a lawsuit was filed by a group paired with Democrat Stacey Abrams. They're accusing the Texas group of paying volunteers to monitor ballots cast for eligibility. If the judge sides with the conservative group, more like-minded groups might be inspired to do mass voter challenges. A federal ruling today that Georgia's congressional, state Senate, and state House districts were drawn in a racially discriminatory manner. The state is now ordered to draw an additional black majority congressional district. Now, this follows an 8-day trial in September accusing Georgia lawmakers of silencing black voters through erasing black majority districts. Similar legal challenges are still ongoing in South Carolina. Happening now live at 5, day 2 of the GHSA Softball Elite 8 is raging on in Columbus. After winning both of their first 2 games, Washington Wilkes is moving to the state semifinals. After not getting the results they wanted yesterday, Grovetown, Harlem, Glasscock County, and Emmanuel County Institute are all facing elimination. Our sports team will have the latest on tonight's state softball action just ahead, live at 5:30. A high-tech taser will soon be in the hands of deputies in Florence County, South Carolina. Now, this is the first county in the state to get a hold of this tech. It's called Taser 10. The taser is designed to be more accurate than current models are, and it can also record and track interactions in the field.
Any deputy pulls the taser out of his holster, it's going to immediately activate any deputy's body camera that is in that proximity. So we'll have a clear picture of what went on during that time.
Before deputies can carry these new tasers, they have to go through a training session with certified instructors and also pass a written test and hands-on evaluation. A Columbia County fire station is closed. It's making way for the construction of a brand new fire station. Station 2 is on Gibbs Road. It is closed for demolition. Construction on the new fire station is set to start next month. While the station is closed, fire rescue crews will run normal operations out of a facility on North Bel-Air Road in Evans. The Centers for Disease Control is out with a health advisory about a new shot to protect babies from RSV. It offers long-acting protection against the potentially dangerous respiratory virus. Right now, though, there is just a limited supply. The CDC is asking doctors to limit the shot to infants in the highest risk categories. The advisory has caught some healthcare providers by surprise.
The shortage thing was not something we anticipated because we had been assured there would be plenty of supply.
Doctors are hopeful, though, this shortage will not last long. An increase in RSV cases is already being reported in southern states. A change for healthcare providers in South Carolina. This is prompted by the growing use of a dangerous drug known as Tranq. Tranq is an animal tranquilizer, sometimes called the zombie drug because of the skin wounds it can cause. 8 people overdosed on Tranq in Manning, South Carolina back in March. Starting November 27th, all healthcare providers in South Carolina will be required to report information about positive tests for that dangerous drug. Insurance fraud, it is on the rise tonight, and South Carolinians are paying for it more than those in other states. Just ahead, how lawmakers are getting to the bottom of this. Riley?
Well, it looks like the end of October will go out with a bang with some warm temps, but we're going to bring in November with some chilly temperatures. While the full forecast coming up.
Time and temp.
Welcome back, folks. This is a look from our Beach Island camera. Just had it zoomed in on a distant field. Wanted to show you some of that fall color popping across Aiken County. Wind picking up a little bit at 750 feet up, so unfortunately kind of shaking our camera when we have it zoomed in. Warm afternoon again. We're up to 81 degrees, and many locations have been able to see at least the 80s out there. So if you're firing up the grill, maybe heading out to get a bite to eat, great weather expected through this evening. We'll hang on to a few passing clouds, but still some sun peeking through at times. Temps will be in the 70s and 60s for the next several hours, so feeling very comfortable. Heading into late tonight, we should see low temps stay in the mid-50s, so not going to be overly cold to start off your Friday morning. There potentially could be some dense fog right around sunrise, so heads up for an early morning commute. Later tomorrow afternoon, we should see highs back close to 80. Looking good for our high school football games as well. If you're heading out to those games Friday evening, kickoff temps should be close to 70, and then we'll fall further into the 60s as we get towards halftime in the second half. But great football weather out there tomorrow evening. Not much wind. It's going to stay pretty calm out there over the next several days, even through the weekend. Just a light and variable wind as high pressure sits on top of us. Temperatures through this weekend only get a little bit warmer. 83 for a high Saturday, 84 on Sunday, and then by Monday, we're thinking we could get up to 85 degrees. So I'm not going to see those cooler temperatures, unfortunately, until we get to Halloween. And speaking of Halloween, how about this? We got the Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee. This is actually starting Friday and continuing Saturday there in downtown North Augusta. And they're going to have some great weather for the free Toby Mac concert Friday, 7:30. Temps will be near 70 degrees around that time frame. And then the free concert for Sister Hazel on Saturday. That will start at 8. And temperatures Saturday afternoon into the evening should be topping out to the 80s, falling into the 60s later into the night. So great weather for Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee this weekend. Looking at our hour-by-hour forecast, wanted to mention this. If you're heading down to Statesboro, big game tonight. The Eagles taking on Georgia State. That's going to be a 7:30 kick, and temps most likely will be in the mid-70s around kickoff, so very comfortable down there in Bullitt County. Once again, a Friday morning, temps in the 50s for most spots. Watch out for some patchy fog right around sunrise. Another warm afternoon tomorrow with those highs close to 80 out there. And then staying nice and comfortable through those high school football games. And just going to see those warm temps stick around through the weekend. Weekend temps, they will be warm for the end of October, but not quite up to record levels. You can see our record highs this time of year, usually in the upper 80s to near 90s. So I don't think we'll be able to get that hot, but we will get close. It definitely will be a warm end to our month of October here. But we will see that temperature change by Tuesday. So a cold front's going to push through Monday night. That will cool off our temperature some for Halloween. And then we're really going to see that chilly air show up Wednesday into Thursday. Could see the 30s waking up early Thursday next week.
That's especially going to feel cold after today. Thanks for that, Riley. Insurance fraud cost every adult in South Carolina more than $1,000 annually, on average, in inflated premiums. Now, this is according to a recent study, and data shows this is an issue that's only getting worse. Our State House reporter Mary Green has more about what's being done in Columbia to curb that.
Beginning this week, a legislative committee studying insurance fraud is hearing from the 9 state agencies involved in the prevention, reporting, investigation, and prosecution of this crime. It's one that experts say is committed at a disproportionately high rate in South Carolina compared to other states. The director of the state's insurance fraud division says automobile fraud is driving about half of all complaints in South Carolina. That can include people lying about where they live or how many people are in their household to get lower rates, reporting the same damage on multiple claims, or even staging crashes. The Department of Insurance says counties with larger populations tend to have more fraud complaints, but some smaller counties like Sumter are also experiencing higher rates. A record number of insurance fraud complaints were reported in South Carolina last year, and the state has nearly reached that number this year, with 2+ months still left.
I think that we're doing the best job that we can with the resources we have, but as I'll discuss a little bit further on, I think more resources are eventually going to need to be put in place at various agencies to properly attack that problem.
And one of those resources could be more manpower. SLED's chief says he currently has 5 agents who investigate insurance fraud complaints, which he says pales in comparison to what neighboring states have in Georgia and North Carolina. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
A nationwide study found more than 53 million Americans don't consider insurance fraud to be a crime, which younger Americans much more likely to have this view. The Department of Insurance says that could indicate this rising crime could only keep growing. One Georgia lawmaker is proposing we pay teachers $10,000 a year to carry guns in schools. We'll take a deeper look at what this could mean coming up.
First Alert Radio.
Today.
It's DuckTales.
Georgia's lieutenant governor says he wants to pay teachers $10,000 per year extra to encourage them to carry guns in schools. Joshua Skinner explains how this could work and what teachers think about it.
The announcement came at Austin Road Elementary School.
It's sad, but it is the sign of the times that we're having to, go to these lengths to protect our children.
The new links include expanding a 2014 state law allowing teachers to carry guns in schools. The legislation, written by State Senator Max Burns, is expected to be introduced in January.
Part of this legislation creates a certified firearms training program that builds on existing law.
Burns says this program will be developed by the state at no cost to the school systems. Teachers would have to qualify, go through the training, and continue to be recertified.
These are not mandates. This is a local decision by a local school board.
But it's unclear exactly how many school districts would opt in, even with a $10,000 stipend.
There are only 3 districts that have considered it and have dealt with those policies.
Lisa Morgan with the Georgia Association of Educators does not expect this to change the small number of school districts that currently allow teachers to carry.
Arming teachers does not make students safer. In fact, it makes students less safe.
Morgan says it's impossible for teachers to be as qualified as trained professionals when it comes to handling an active shooter scenario. Retired SWAT officer Charles Yarbaugh agrees.
Anyone that's been in a combat situation or shooting situation will tell you it's not as easy as people think it is. Shooting at paper is paper. When you're talking about real world, it's a big difference.
Yarbaugh has nearly 40 years of law enforcement experience, much of that in active shooter training. In his view, arming teachers creates a greater risk of collateral damage.
I think the best thing to do is let the teachers teach and let law enforcement and security personnel that are trained to do that to handle those type of situations.
But everyone agrees safety measures of some kind need to be implemented, whether it be more guns, bulletproof glass in doors, or more school resource officers. The state is leaving that decision in the hands of the school districts.
Classroom teachers should not be armed.
Now, this plan is modeled after a plan in Texas that did not pass. Like Georgia, Texas already allows teachers to carry guns. People in downtown Savannah say they are sick of tourists and they want the city to make some changes to control the crowds. Now, some of those requests were laid out at a recent meeting. They include limiting the number of scheduled tours and requiring those tours to provide guests with headphones instead of using speakers on buses and trolleys.
It's not any different than being in Disney World, and that's some of what the residents are feeling. We've had residents leave downtown to go to the islands because of the volume of tours, and they're tired of the noise.
Last year, tourists pumped more than $4 billion into Savannah's economy. A committee will review those concerns brought up by people who live there. Riley?
Well, we are looking at beautiful weather to continue over the next couple of days and some warm temps, so you're going to need those sunshades. And we have our latest winner for the Plunkett Heating and Air Sunshade Giveaway. Congratulations to Dora Jefferson from Augusta, Georgia. To get your own sunshade, you can go to wrdw.com, click on contests, and enter your email right there. We'll have another look at the forecast for you just after a quick break. Welcome back. This is another look from our Beach Island camera. Believe it or not, this is actually zoomed in over an area just around a little pond here. We got some great fall color popping along the water. Very calm conditions, so you can see a good reflection off the lake. Beautiful weather to get outside this weekend. Definitely take advantage of the warm temps. You're going to see some great color if you're walking around our area. Trails, lakes, anything like that. Low 80s this afternoon. We're actually expecting to be a little bit warmer heading into the weekend, believe it or not. Mid 80s in store Saturday and Sunday. If you're heading out this evening, though, very nice weather on tap. We'll stay in the 70s and 60s the rest of this evening up until close to midnight. Late tonight, early tomorrow morning, we should see those low temps in the mid 50s again. But here's a look at that 7-day, and you can see those warmer temperatures on the way. So Saturday and Sunday, great for getting outside. We're going to have low humidity, plenty of sun, and very comfortable temperatures. Next week, Monday, we look to hang on to those warm temps in the mid 80s, but by Halloween, that is when we start to see our temperatures go down again. We are expecting a very cool start to the month of November with highs in the 60s next Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for that, Riley, and thanks for joining us. Will has entered the studio. He's standing right next to me.
No, I'm not.
Yes, he is. Don't go anywhere.
This is not you.
It's not me.
Real people, real problems, real life solutions. Investigate TV Plus.
It's October.